Wow. From Canada?
Canada.
Justin Trudeau.
Yep.
Not my PM.
Not my problem.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Justin Trudeau, who's like a clown, right?
Trudeau actually winded up freezing the bank accounts of a few protesters.
Canada's obviously like a more aggressive example. They've had 12 years of Justin Trudeau, who's like a clown, right? And you go,
with face paint.
yeah. And there's like, people went from mostly people being fairly liberal to people having like fuck Trudeau stickers on like turned into like a Republican dad over, night. You know what I mean? Like people are legit, your average person is, is talking about the Second Amendment and stuff like that, right?
And most amount of fentanyl they tried to sneak in through the Canadian border.
Wow. From Canada?
Canada.
Justin Trudeau.
Yep. Speaking, he was disguised as a Detroiter.
I was thinking he was disguised as a Hindu with all the pills in the top of the hat.
Canada needs like a Jordan Peterson kind of leader, but who can rein in some of like the rhetoric.
Yeah.
And like just a strong man, but somebody who can appeal.
He's going to win. This guy is a conservative guy.
Really?
Yeah. He's like the
President?
first. He'll be the next prime minister unless something crazy happens. But
when is that happening?
Next year, because it won't be till 2025 because Trudeau won't do an early election.
You guys got to celebrate on that day.
Yeah.
You guys got to do something
I mean, some people will. Some people still like Justin Trudeau. Like
Not very many.
Not very many, but there are people who are. I made this Justin Trudeau fake video, and then I think it's going around all these like liberal circles now because they keep getting like tagged in it, where people are just like literally there's a hashtag that's like a PM JT on where like people still love Justin Trudeau.
That's nuts.
That's a problem.
But it's more that they hate.
I'm telling you, I go back to them.
Have you talked to one person?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I've talked to normal people.
No.
The most you get is, do you remember when probably after the Joe Biden Trump debate, the level of like, even people will be like, yeah, I'm voting for him, but you didn't see it. No one was like, he's the man.
Yeah, maybe like is not as good.
Yeah, they might be like, people I still like, prefer him. But
yeah, people are just like, I'll never vote conservative. Like, there's just people who are like, I can never vote conservative. I'm like lifelong.
Well, the problem with your system is that you don't vote for the prime minister; you vote for the party.
I'm out of that. That's not my system.
And not my system, not my prime minister, not my PM.
Not my problem.
Yeah, no shit, right? But that's
not gonna work here anymore.
But that's it. That's what it is, though, because the parties can corrupt.
Yeah,
I mean, there was an individual.
There was a really like how they have the whole like foreign interference Russiagate here. There was a real thing in Canada that like wasn't even that big of a story, where like the Chinese like the CCP was literally influencing like small ridings essentially, and like the outcomes of them, and like doing crazy shit where like people were like worried for their like family's safety over this, and it helped the liberals specifically because the CCP wanted the liberals in charge.
Of course.
And it was like kind of just like not that big of a story.
Wow.
Yeah, like there's some people who are like yelling about it, but then like the main news like don't really like pick it up. It's just like
was the trucker thing in Canada, was that national outrage? Like we saw it all over the.
I know a million people who are like, these are the biggest pieces of shit on earth. Like
that to me was a partisan one. Yeah,
that was a part. So
yeah,
okay.
yeah, that was a big.
So
big
people were like, okay, wow. Damn,
yeah. That was. I know lots
nuts.
of people who are like, those truckers are fucking despicable people. Like all this shit. Like.
Yeah.
Having that bouncy castle set up. And
yeah, right?
Yeah.
If you don't understand why immigration and border protection is so important to a country, just ask your friends in the north. Canada. White people and black people alike feel like they can't walk down the streets in Canada feeling safe anymore. Not just because of the 85% rise in violence. Or is it just because they might step in human Yes, the hundreds of thousands of Indians that have been imported by Justin Trudeau so they can help him win in the next election. He is so hated. He literally had to import voters from another country. They keep in public places, dig holes like feral cats, and in them like Canada is their new litter box. Ooh, fresh sand. Can't wait to it. I'm not kidding. That is a real issue in Canada right now. Here to shit in all your holes. I honestly get it. To some of you, it comes down to policy.
They're asking Justin Trudeau a question about diversity, feminism, and segregation in Canadian mosques. This is just priceless. He is The WikiLeaks is the guy who tweeted this out, and he points out that he's a terrible fucking speaker, and he actually really is. But he's also just the most mealy-mouthed politician you've ever seen.
Prime Minister, it's about the event you attended yesterday in the morning, and some progressive, what I guess I would call progressive feminists, who very much support your work for gender equality and very admiring of that work, were disappointed that you attended a gender-segregated event. And so I guess my question would be, how do you reconcile your brand as a self-styled feminist prime minister with attendance at a gender-segregated event?
That's a fucking great question. And it's, I mean, you know, I'm not actually a big fan of the Rebel. They're a bit too right-leaning for me, and they tend towards hyperbole and sensationalism a bit too much for my liking. But that doesn't necessarily, I'm not trying to condemn them, it's just my personal preference. But that doesn't mean they can't do any good work. And getting this guy to ask that question is fantastic work. And Trudeau's response, Pierre Trudeau's wife's son gives the best response in the world. Listen to this.
The fact is, the values that define Canada include respect and openness towards our full diversity. Indeed,
Gender segregation of women and men in mosques because of theocratic commandments. Is that? I mean, it's just they're the values of Canada, aren't they, Justin?
understand that.
Well, how's it go? Pure, I can't do the accent, but pure ideology. Should have got the little identifying ideology thing. Just trot out what you've been indoctrinated into. Diversity is our strength, not a source of weakness. Well, that's great. Now explain the gender segregation.
Is why I think that politicians need to be focused on bringing people together rather than fomenting divisions.
Brilliant. I love it. Politicians should be focused on bringing people together, not fomenting divisions, except for when it comes to gender segregation, which you as a feminist are actually perfectly okay with. Have I got that correct, Justin? Because it really seems like I have.
And that's why I am happy to attend community events in churches, temples, synagogues, mosques.
Even those that absolutely violate the core precepts of your feminist beliefs. It doesn't matter to you. It's not something you'd hold to. I mean, I would have a significant problem if I was asked to attend a gender-segregated event and my wife was being forced to cover up and go in through a side door. And that's just my wife. I would also have a bigger problem if it was one of our politicians, female politicians, who was supposed to go to a mosque in Britain, or Canada, I mean, well, I wouldn't say Canada, in Britain, and they were asked to enter through the side door and sit on a balcony miles back because they were born wrong. I think that's really wrong, Justin. I don't think I'd abide by that. I would just protest by abstaining. You could have done the same.
You may not have heard so much about male feminism if you live in Australia, but particularly in the United States and in Canada as well, it is rife. Because that's where the king of the male feminists live. And I'm talking about none other than Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
And by the way, we shouldn't be afraid of the word feminist. Men and women should use it to describe themselves anytime they want.
Why can't you just be a good person, Justin? Why can't you just be respectful of everybody? Why can't you just treat people how you would like to be treated? Why do we have to judge people based on their sex, the colour of their skin, all that type of shit? Why don't you just treat people and not be an absolute fuckwit? Why can't we just do that? Is there anything wrong with just doing that? Do we have to label it as something? Can't we just be nice? Is there anything wrong with just being nice, Justin? You cockhead?
Men have to be a big part of this conversation. One of the things, like, I'm incredibly proud to have a partner in my wife Sophie, who is extremely committed to women and girls issues. You know, we're of a like mind on it. I agree with her on that, and I've been very thoughtful about how we raise our daughter. But she taught me. Or she took me aside a few months ago and said, okay, it's great that you're engaged and modeling to your daughter that you want her empowered and everything, but you need to take as much effort to talk to your sons, my 8-year-old boy and my 2-year-old, still a little young still, about how he treats women and how he is going to be grown up to be a feminist just like Dad. And
you need to take effort to talk to your kids and just teach them to be good people. That's all you have to do. But with the same brush, you should also be teaching your daughters to not give a fuck what other people think about them. If they want to be the fucking president or the prime minister, then they should be able to do that. Nothing is going to stop them. But one of the things that feminism does is it puts this roadblock in front of women. Oh, I can't do that because it's too hard because there's too many men involved. I can't be the CEO of that company. It's all about white men. Bullshit. If you've got that opinion about yourself, you will never achieve anything in your life. Stop being a fucking victim. I've said this before. The CEO of YouTube, Suzanne, who I pronounced her last name last time and I did it incorrectly and I don't want to get my channel deleted. Susan's a nice person. I bet she's a fucking lovely lady, all right? Good on you, Susan. Good fucking on you. My point being, if she can do that and she is a woman, then so can any other woman, all right? Don't put roadblocks in front of yourself. It's just negative shit talk. That's all it is.
It is so important that we all understand that it's not only that men can be feminists, it's that men should be feminists as well. We need to take back what it is to be a man, and that means being open, compassionate, respectful.
I disagree. Being respectful to women doesn't make you a feminist. It just makes you a good person. That's all. And there's a lot of people that aren't respectful to women. Why? Not because they're sexist. As I've said this before, they're just fuckwits. That's all they are. And I think it's going to end quite poorly for men. I think so many men now are afraid to be masculine. We're losing a lot of masculinity. I mean, there's news sites reporting constantly that toxic masculinity is a bad thing for men, and perhaps it is in certain respects, but I think men still have a place to be men.
In a bold move, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has demanded that Hamas return its hostages immediately. And while some people have called this an empty gesture, Trudeau has made one of the most brilliant geopolitical moves in history by letting Hamas know if those hostages are not returned by Monday, he is fully prepared to add Hamas to the 2S LGBTQIA+ acronym.
And you gotta hand it to Justin for saying, and I quote, "If you don't think I have the stones to add letters to the acronym, well then you don't know me very well. Please give me a reason. There's two things that give me joy: adding letters to that acronym and dressing up as different races. And I'm fresh out of face paint."
Trudeau has said that he can have the Hamas logo on every gay pride flag in the country by sundown if he chooses to. And he has told the leader of Hamas that he better pray 6 times a day that he's not in the mood this afternoon because he's feeling a little peckish to pop another letter on there as we speak.
The leader of Hamas said that he thinks Justin Trudeau is bluffing, but was also visibly shaken during the interview at the idea of being inducted into the gay umbrellas permanently.
Trudeau further responded by saying, "Look at the G's and T's. Remember when those were a separate thing? Not so separate now. It appears you don't know who you're dealing with because I can have drag queens teaching kids the Quran decked out in full gear before you can blink. And I'm not talking about adding Hamas to the plus either, right smack in the middle. And I'll be flying that flag full mast through majority Muslim neighborhoods, letting them know that Hamas is about that life."
And Trudeau finished his speech by saying, "I might just f*** around and put a super mosque in the gay village," with the Canadian Muslim Caucus releasing a statement saying, "You don't understand, this guy's serious," and begging Hamas to do whatever he asks.
I'm Canadian. I just know that we like Barack Obama.
How much does Trudeau make? What's he bringing in?
Oh, fuck. I try every single time I hear his name. It's like,
You're not on like the Trudeau's hot train?
I mean, like he's a good-looking man, but he's like the human form of an ick. Everything that he does.
You guys don't like Trudeau? I thought you guys liked Trudeau.
Oh, I mean, like, I'm not going to speak for the entire country because I do know that there are some people that like, and like, I'm like liberal, but he is doing dookie at being the prime minister, like so bad.
Damn.
We're like living out in like a communism up there. Like,
you guys got communism in Canada?
That's what it feels like.
At least you got some poutine though.
Speaking of women, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, he took time out of his trip to England to honor the Queen. She's still on the money there.
Good. What? Yeah. Not in the grave?
Oh.
What?
Well, I mean, they probably covered her eyes with some coins.
Is she a pickpocket?
So, Justin Trudeau, did you see this? This is his trip to England. He was doing his best Freddie Mercury impression. Okay, sorry, that's the wrong clip. We need to get that out of the board. But here is Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who, like Brian Stelter, is a completely heterosexual male, doing Queen even gayer than Freddie Mercury did.
He wishes.
He didn't have to do it in a gay Broadway voice.
Yeah, at least the people are having a
I'm
good
an adult
time.
virgin.
Mother, I just killed a nation.
Yes. Yeah.
Easy come, easy go.
Play
It's like,
it
wow,
again.
that's weird.
Listen to him. He's doing gay Broadway. That's enough. That's enough.
Yes.
He's doing the Mary Poppins version.
Yes.
He's doing it in AIDS minor.
Yes. And he's still off key.
I know, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Freddie Mercury wasn't that gay.
No.
Trudeau actually winded up freezing the bank accounts of a few protesters. But thank God I live in America where I can say whatever I want and don't have to worry about my bank account being fucked with over opinions I have.